So let's begin the Utah agrivoltaic storage and EV microgrid market intelligence analysis by looking at a broad overview of Utah. And we're going to look at the economy, the ecology, the geography, and the land ownership within the great state of Utah. So we're going to go from the macro to the micro, and building off of the United States market intelligence analysis, look at Utah State as an individual market, but also how it has a 7-state regional market connected to it of Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada. I'm going to focus on Deseret Power, which is a 6-member electric cooperative. And we can see that its service areas are outlaid here and how it really goes across state lines. So the innovation that happens within Utah and within Deseret Power Electric Cooperative can really translate to this broader regional market. And then specifically on Garcane Energy, which is service areas in the central and eastern Utah region, we're going to go to the town of Boulder and all the way down to one ranch that's 160 acres. So going from the macro to the micro, how this bottom-up and inside-out transformation has rippling impacts across the broader region, the U.S., and ultimately the world. And looking at the market in its 4 major sectors, that it can create synergistic solutions to core challenges within ag, energy, water, and transportation. And this is really a multi-sector opportunity, looking at solar microgrids that have agrivoltaic solar, fixed, single, dual axis, and bifacial solar fencing systems, distributed energy storage, EV fleets for farms, ranches, and businesses, as well as public charging network, regenerative rotational grazing, mixed crops, and greenhouses, and how we can create massive positive impacts in water conservation, storage, and efficiency in the largest water sectors of Utah, and then how agrivoltaic systems can positively benefit pollinators, native species, and all of the forest areas that surround our farms and ranches. So agrivoltaics is agricultural and solar combined. And this synergy of impacts happens at the nexus of the food, energy, and water soil systems. We use the acronym the FUSE. And that the synergy is happening at multiple layers of these integrated systems that can maximize yields of food, energy, water, and soil. And we have a deep dive into agrivoltaics at butterflypower.org/agrivoltaics. I want to say that agrivoltaics also has a very broad scale of its applications, going from rural to urban and from large farms and ranches, which will generally be more conducive to utility scale grid systems, all the way down to small farms, market gardens, and individual microgrids. And that this applies, obviously to farms and ranches in rural areas, but also to orchards, berries, and vineyards. And then in the urban setting, to urban farms, market gardens that can also happen on rooftops. So the Utah economy is a powerhouse. And according to Forbes magazine, is the best state for business and careers in the nation. Utah was #1 in GDP growth in 2022. Over the last 5 years, Utah's GDP has grown at 19%. From 2010 has expanded by 36%, and over the last 20 years, an astounding 82%, moving from a real GDP of $92 billion in 2000 to $169 billion in 2020. Utah is also a very diverse economy with strong life sciences, information, technology, aerospace, innovation, and energy. It also has a young and educated workforce and has a robust international trade sector. And all of this is combined with a very high quality of life. And this creates for a real innovation hub of industry education to create a diverse and thriving economy. And there are many world-class companies in their respective industries. And some of the key factors to Utah's powerful economy is it has one of the lowest tax states in the United States, lowest operating costs in the United States, and then also has the second lowest commercial electric rates and third lowest natural gas rates in the U.S. And this is really critical because being able to see how successful agrivoltaic systems can be in a very low cost energy environment really can show how it can translate to be even more successful in markets that have higher energy rates. And then looking at the top industries in Utah, energy is number one, manufacturing, finance, insurance, professional, scientific, and technical services, information. And then number 9 is agricultural production and processing. And how these are critical sectors to not only support the integration of agrivoltaic storage systems, but also how we can take this powerhouse economy, make sure that it continues to be a leader, but how we can also quantum leap it into being more regenerative, more prosperous, more abundant, and more secure and more resilient for all Utahns. So looking at the Utah Economic Scorecard that's done by U.S. News and World Report, where they rank all of the states in multiple sectors. And we look at Utah, we can see it's number 1 in economy, number 11 in healthcare, number 10 in education. But we want to zoom in on infrastructure here, where Utah is number 5 in the nation. Infrastructure is the rankings and the gauge of the quality of the state's bridges, public transportation, power grids, and broadband internet access. And we can see that energy is here number 22. So number 1 in economy, number 22 in energy, but number 3 in internet access and transportation. So Utah is very strong in infrastructure, but arguably weak in the energy sector. And if we look at the ranking of the top 10 states in the infrastructure category, we can see Nevada, Oregon, Washington, North Dakota, all above Utah in total infrastructure scorecard. But Utah here at number 21 shows a real pivotal opportunity to take the powerhouse economy in one of its weaker areas, and how Utah could easily become number 1 in energy, which means it could also move up and potentially be number 1 in infrastructure. So looking at population and density, Utah's also been one of the fastest growing states in the nation for the past 6 years. And that rapid growth is projected to continue, and that rate is kind of up for debate, but projections range from another 1 million to 2.5 million new Utahns by 2050. So in 2022, there are 3.3 million Utahns, and this is a population distribution and density heat map, and we can see a lot of Utahns live all across the Wasatch Front in Salt Lake, Provo, and Ogden, and then are really huddled along the I-15 down into southern Utah. And this is one of the projections of that map showing 2.5 million new Utahns over the next 20 years. And one of the critical parts is this huge increase in population has really started to strain the state's infrastructure. There's big challenges in water, in energy, and also Utah ranks pretty low in food resiliency, even though we have a very robust agricultural sector. So agrivoltaics presents the opportunity for us not only to be able to support the existing levels of massive growth, but how we can really abundantly, securely, and resiliency continue to support all of the new people who will be born, raised, and continue to come to the great state of Utah. So let's look at land ownership. Total acreage in Utah is 52 million acres. The BLM is by far the largest, with 22 million acres having 42%. Private lands are number 2, 11.4 million acres for 21%. Forest Service has 8.1 million acres. State lands has 3.4 million acres, or 6.3%. And the state lands to the trust have a lot of gas and petroleum leases that provide a lot of revenue to the state, specifically in education. But the state also has 3 million acres of trust that are permitted for grazing operations. So perfectly suited for agrivoltaic grazing operations. Then we also have the tribal lands of the Ute, the Navajo, or the Dene, the Paiute, the Goshute, the Shoshone tribes that have 2.4 million acres. So each one of these sectors of land ownership, I would offer stewardship, presents a unique opportunity for agrivoltaic storage systems and EV microgrids to be able to come into those communities and those administrators to create new revenue, to create additional economic resiliency, to improve their water situation, and also to create a better environment for all those who live within those communities. And then Utah has a very diverse ecology and geography. It's such a stunningly beautiful state. From in northern Utah, the high mountains and the forests over to the desert to the west, and then down into gorgeous southern Utah with all of our beautiful red rock country. And that this also presents a unique opportunity because Utah already being a powerful innovation and technology hub, as we integrate agrivoltaic storage and EV microgrids at different areas of Utah geography and ecology, that these systems can really stimulate and provide innovation insights for other areas that share similar ecology and geography of Utah, and how Utah can be a world leader in agrivoltaic storage and EV microgrid systems. Thank you for taking the time to watch this section of the Utah Agrivoltaic Storage and EV Microgrid Market Intelligence Analysis. It's my prayer that you found a lot of really valuable knowledge and insights and hopefully inspiration about how you can participate in taking the great state of Utah and transforming it into more abundant, secure, and prosperous future for all Utahns, but how Utah is really a keystone state within the heart of the Rocky Mountains that has the opportunity to really integrate with this incredible 7-state regional market, and how Utah is an economic powerhouse and technological innovation hub can really inform that regional market, the broader United States and the world. And regardless of what channel you're finding this transmission, that you'd be inspired to watch all sections of this market intelligence analysis, which you can find at butterflypower.org. And we would be humbled and honored if you'd give it some love, a like, and share it specifically with a farmer or a rancher or investors who are looking at investing their capital in ways to create a more regenerative future, or really anyone who's wanting to come and participate in this broad scale, bottom up, inside out transformation of our economy, our energy system, and our environment. And it's just a blessing to be here in this time and to participate in this great and good work. And we are the butterfly generation. It's time to rise and shine. Time to transform and fly.